We're back in the courtroom, episode 2. I had to go back to Philly, get in with my man Veli before he gets too much and too expensive. What's going on, Veli?
What's good, my brother?
Veli, man, he took it to a next level in Philly. Really elevated his career over the past, I would say, year, and he's been making some big moves here internationally, and then New York City, all that sort of stuff. Working on the label side, working directly with artists on the management tip, doing tour management stuff, and there's also, I think his biggest thing in Philly has been sort of bringing in the best talent to the city. I know you off the record, but I still don't even know the truth about how you really kind of came up in this. Like, yeah. Can you kind of start there?
Yeah. So I mean, I was playing college ball, like in 2013, and I realized, like I'm not going overseas. I'm not going to the league. So I wanted to, figure out what I can do while in college, so that I'm set when I get out of college. Not so much set, but just have an idea of what I'm working to do. So I'm not, graduating college in 26, 27, 28, and not really know what I want to do in life. Not being happy. So I was a business major. My best friend at the time, he was a rapper. And essentially I was like, I don't know nothing about the music business, but I know business. Let me be a manager and let's go from there, see what happens. That was in the spring of 2013. That took off, not took off, but things were going cool. And then fall time came around and it was like, do I want to, quit basketball and pursue music? And like focus on music in school, and I feel like I made the best choice of my life by quitting basketball and getting into music.
You quit hoops?
Yeah, I left going in my junior year in college. I stopped playing. I played freshman, sophomore year, but I wasn't never going to the league. I wasn't.
Nah, at a certain point it comes out anyway. But yeah.
But so I left to really get into music, and like best choice I ever made in my life. So then working with him, I realized, there's a lot of loopholes or a lot of I can curse on here?
Yeah.
All right. It's a lot of bullshit.
You can curse in the courtroom, yo.
It's a lot of bullshit that goes on with like the indie music scene, not just in Philly, but everywhere, from like the pay to play to 30, 40 artist showcases, shit like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to do my own shows to get my artists the platforms, because shit was hard getting shows. So I just started getting into concerts, and really I found a niche in the scene. This is like 2014, 2015, and then here we are today.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, even from there, 2014, 2015, all right, you start throwing your own shows, but now you're working from some of the biggest venues in the city and bringing in the top talent. What were some key moments that that led to that? Like, how did you get from 2014, all right, I'm gonna start throwing shows for my artists, and then, like, all right, then I'm gonna start bringing DaBaby in, I'm gonna start bringing Lil TJay in, and, at that level?
Yeah, I mean, it just, it just grows. You know what I mean? I wouldn't really say it was any key moments, but it literally just went from, I'm doing artist showcases. I create, showcase series like New Breed and stuff like that, to where, I blended talent, put a nice line together, and then, it just grew naturally, like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't nothing really that said, okay, I gotta start. Well, I started doing bigger acts because I stopped not caring. I didn't like doing the showcase anymore. I was like, I feel like I'm bigger than this. So as my brand grew, the shows just grew. You know what I'm saying? So,
And the showcase scene, and I don't think you meant anything by it. So that's why I'm like, the showcase scene is like is exhausting.
Yeah.
I think I think one of the things I see on Twitter that I agree with is, like, I think a lot of people kind of like try to do more shows before their music is good enough. A lot of times, like, your music is not good enough.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying don't do shows or like don't tap in, but like, bro, y'all focus on that product. Make sure that shit's hitting, and then you can just really start growing your shit online and organically. But I think people just be hitting that showcase scene hard. Well,
I mean, the thing is, like, when I first started coming up between like 2013 and 2016, 2014 and 2016, the Philly scene was 10 times different. Like, and I'll be honest, I've said this for a while now. Like, there's no more scene here. There's no scene.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
Like the indie scene, when I first came, it was crazy. Like, it was like you had 3 or 4 different, like, legit, companies that was doing actual quality shows, between like What Scene to Yusef, a veteran freshman, You know, and even Broad Street Music Group, who was doing a lot of stuff with us now, Rec Philly.
Right.
They was doing a lot of stuff coming up, and me, and you know, it was a key thing to go to every week. It was like a popping event every week, and it wasn't as saturated as it is now. Like there's a lot of BS, you know, shows and showcases going on.
I don't know none of the young boys. I don't know none of the like young guys doing shows or building movement.
Is really slim to none now,
right.
And even the ones that do it is not really done in genuine form. It's just, you know.
In fairness, let me say this though, the scene has kind of evolved into it, and you can speak on this too. Live music now, right? It's like literally Live Nation owns everything, right? So it's kind of like
yeah, but they always did though.
They always did, but even the venues,
was different. It was different.
Yeah, even the venue game now is just like they not letting people just walk in and book maybe the way they would have 8 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. A lot of different venues have closed down.
Right.
Since I first started. So
right.
it is definitely different, and things happen to where, you know, rules change, laws change, stuff like that, you know what I mean? But in the whole, the scene isn't as vibrant as it was back then. Like I said, you can go to the different events every week or every month. It was 3 or 4 different things coming that brought everybody out, and now it's not really one thing you could point to that
right.
does that. And I don't mean on a big scale. I don't mean with the concerts. I mean like on a lifestyle scale. Yeah, on a lifestyle community scale. There's none of that anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's none of that anymore. So that's why I said the scene's done. And even down to the artists, there was so many new artists in the underground scene in Philly that was vibrant.
Nah, we got like, that's another thing. You be saying this, and I can't fight it because I really wasn't on the Philly scene in like 2014 too heavy. I was in college up in New York, but we got a lot now. There's like, I feel like every week there's another guy popping up who has some talent. Like,
okay. We talking about, you know, we're talking about 2 different scenes likely, because like the street scene of Philly, that's gone. You know what I mean? And there's guys every year that come up that have moments.
That's what I meant.
Well, I'm talking about the creative scene, and it's really hard to explain, but like the creative scene is like, not even so much the artsy, but it was like, again, back in the day, it was me, what scene, veteran freshman, like people like that who was doing things, and it's not none of that anymore. So a lot of artists was coming out of those scenes. You know what I mean?
It's like gangster shit now, but it's either just gangster shit or nothing really. That's what basically what we saying.
That's really bubbling.
Yeah, it's really. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of really just gangster shit in no other gap that was being filled. Yeah. But I think we all evolved, and I think it's almost an obligation that you and then, you know, the Rec Phillies and the Youssefs of the world have to sort of, as your platform gets bigger and you really get that ability to sort of build shit out the way you want it. I think you're gonna bring it back full sail, and then, like, you know, you'll be a pioneer. And
I mean, I do what I can now. Like, you know, I mean, I do my best to help a lot of Philly artists, you know, and just give them, you know, just have them open up for bigger artists. You know what I mean? And in the most genuine way possible. I don't say and say, yo, you open up, I need $1,000. You know what I'm saying? I just, you know, I put a lot of people on to different things, and not even just shows. I put different people on to videographers, to photographers, whatever. I put them on the money with different people that hit me up. Yo, I need this. Boom, hit him. I feel like I do a lot, you know, just plugging people in with different things in the scene. You know what I mean?
Word up. All right, 2014 to now. Now, you know, you're pretty established, at least as a name in Philly, but beyond Philly. You know, A&Rs know you. A lot of people in the game know you. So, like I said, that's why I say the national presence. But when you were getting started, were you doing music full time? Like after school, were you like?
Nah. So my last job was, all right. So when I got out, graduated 2015, I was an assistant manager at Dollar General. When I got out of college.
Yo, that's wild. I fuck with it, yo. That's tough. I got out of college,
yeah. So, but that was like a tough environment, like, cause I was in like some crazy areas. But I was like, so I got that job in July. I graduated in May, got that job in July. By September, I was ready to go, and like ready to quit and really get into music, cause I was already about 2 years into the game. Not even into it. I was getting my feet wet, but I was kind of like, I was coming to get established, and I was like, all right, cool, you know what I mean? I was just fed up with working. So I'm like, yo, I gotta move on. It took me about 2-3 months. I was getting some good advice from some people. It took me like 2-3 months to really make the move. But I made the move just out of necessity because I just wasn't liking how everything was going there. So I quit. And then honestly, up until like 2017, I was working in the music space. I was doing like part-time like landscaping. Maybe like 2-3 days a week. 2-3 days a week.
Somebody gotta bring the money into
it. And then I was doing Uber too,
right,
and stuff like that. But like in the past like 2 years, I've really just been full out music. Like,
yo,
you know what I mean?
The reason why I asked you that because it's like I think that's the creative dilemma, right? A lot of people like, yo, I want to work in music, art, all that other stuff, and they kind of just, you know, it's kind of two opinions right now. It's like one that says you need to quit and go all out at it, and then there's the other opinion that's like, nah, you gotta like go when it's time to go. Like you gotta be smart about it. How do you feel?
I feel like today now a lot of the reason why people, you know, sprout up and fizzle out is because people are so in a rush to get some money. Like it literally took me close to 5 years to really make some okay money here, like in the music business. But I really like was devoted to it, and I really cared. And I feel like a lot of people now, they just chasing the check.
Right.
But in reality, you know, me building these contacts and me building with different people in the past, you know, 5-6 years, that connection I made in 2014 led to a check in 2018, 2019.
Same.
But I feel like people meet somebody and it automatically like trying to press these services on people, trying to get some bread. And it's like, bro, I promise you, like hustling for $25, $50, $100, like that's not really it.
Nah, it's not.
You know what I mean? And like my biggest thing is like, you know, okay, look, do you want to make, and this is on a slightly bigger scale than what we're talking, because a lot of people who are trying to chase the bag, again, they're trying to chase $50, $100, like. But what I like to think is like, yo, do I want $1,000 once, or do I want to make $750 twice?
Right.
Or, you know what I mean, even $600 twice. It's like people are so focused on that one bag instead of trying to, you know, take a little loss or take a little bit less and really build it up. You know what I mean? Or even lower than that, just do some things for the love, like get your name out there and build it up, and like build the credit up. And, you know, people will be more, not saying if you do something for free, people will be more likely to put you on things, but don't press upon the fact that it's all about money.
Motherfuckers don't got no patience. They can't take no L's. Like, yo, you take L's all the way through. I mean, like, I take L's. You know, I think there's people right now who think I'm on, or like, but bro, you take L's so much. Even now, it's just like I take them. You just hit them and roll. Yeah. So it's like, I think that's another thing that I don't think people like really understand. Like, you know, it's gonna be horrible. It's gonna be a battle.
The thing is like, you know, people make it seem like, oh, quit your job and, you know, be a full-time creative. They make it seem so easy. Like, you don't understand until you do it, the type of beast you need inside you to really go kill everything you gotta kill, everything you eat.
Yeah, for
sure. It's not easy.
It's hard.
And there's gonna be a lot of times where you're super depressed, but you gotta understand a long-term goal.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you really gotta build it up. And I feel like a lot of people don't really understand that. But I would never be an advocate of quitting your job to be a full-time whatever, unless you have like things.
Unless you already have been like doing it though, like unless you like
be doing it, you gotta have money saved up.
Right.
Like you gotta take the proper financial steps and mental steps.
Right.
Because once you do it, you can always go back. But there's really no turning back. Because like.
Now, once you quit, it's a wrap. It's gonna be hard to like not have a job and like do your own thing for 6 months and then like go back into an office or do whatever it's gonna be tough. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree. I kind of like, I feel like, man, it's hard to do multiple things at once though, and it's hard to kind of. I think if you need to like make some money, I think you got to like make it landscaping or like drive Uber or do something like that. I think that's like, because those are like they're not going to stress you out mentally. They're not going to do anything crazy like that. So yeah, you need to make some money, but in terms of like getting a new like working in an office or working full time, I don't think you can do both. I'm a big believer in that. I really don't think you can do both. I think you got to kind of at some point devote your time and attention to something, because, you know, being half at something, like, you know, mentally being there 50%, you're not gonna get to that next level.
I think you can, because I don't think it's literally just baby steps that we will be talking about at a certain point. Like, we're not talking about going from working a job to, you know, making 500,000 in your career. So, like, we're still talking about pennies. So it's like that next step could literally be like something so small that, you know, it's just about taking steps as opposed to people trying to go from A to Z.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just go from A to B. Like, it's the baby steps you're doing. So I think you can. Like, I remember when I first started, you know, and I was working at Dollar General, and even with the landscape, like, I was putting in, like, tireless hours. You know what I'm saying? I was putting in, like, tireless hours, and it's like, you know, you got to get to that point to where, you want to get to that point to where you don't have to do that. You don't have to work full-time and do music, but it's possible. Like, because you work a 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or 10 to 6, whatever you do, at the end of the day, those, you might go to sleep around 12, 11 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning. Those is, you know, between 7 to 5 hours that you got in between and to really work on your craft. And let's be real. Like, I've known, and I can speak on experience. People be acting like they work all day. They don't. Like, there's a lot of procrastination, a lot of ADHD going on. Like, you looking at your phone, you sidetrack. You might be at home, you got a PlayStation, you might play the game for an hour or two. Like, people don't really be working. Like, you can get a lot done in 2 to 3 hours working on your craft.
You got a couple efficient hours a day.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, there's no other way around it. Like, you're gonna be fiddle-faddling a lot. You got a couple really hard, efficient hours a day that you're gonna grind shit out, and you're gonna get your full day's work done. And that's how it really goes. You can get a full day's work done in 3 hours usually. It's like when you when you get that focus together. So that's how I just feel, though. You know, the mental and the fatigue and all that other stuff that comes with working a full-time job is like, you gotta be a different type of animal and beast to sort of like compartmentalize those two different things and like really get after it. So like leaving work and then, you know, coming back and doing something full-time.
I mean, end of the day, I think, you know, you just gotta want it.
Right.
You know, people that complain about being tired, and I just don't feel like you want it enough. Like, you know, because it's just like, if you love what you do, or if you're working to do something that you love, which is building your own business, you know, like I said, you ain't working all night on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like complaining about your tired, I feel like it's just an excuse because, like, I've done it. Like, it's tiring, but it's like, yo, like, this is what I want to do, this, but I can't quit yet, but this is what I want to do. Like, you want to have a really satisfied, you want to have a really, like, satisfying gratification about you. Like, yo, you quit, you got this saved up, and you actually have something ready as opposed to, yo, I'm going to quit and I'm going to figure it out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like people get lost with that and just want to focus on, yo, I got to quit. Like, it's cool to do. Like, nah, it's not cool to be broke. I mean, it's not wrong to be broke, but it's not cool to be broke just because you want to pursue some dream.
Yeah,
like,
just to tweet and say, you know, I quit my job. Yeah. Like, and then you're just like, oh, you look crazy because, like, now, then you don't have any ascertainable quality that can get you money. Like, for me, it's kind of like, the reason why I feel like I kind of take, like, accountants and lawyers and stuff. Because, like, literally all you do is you got to get clients. It's a service business. So it's just like, you can go out there on your craft and make some money off your skill that you went to school for, and, you know, that's just what it is. But, like, if you don't have any if your skill isn't, like, something you're going to get some money in it, you can't get some clients, you don't get if you want to do marketing, or it's like, how, bro, where are you going to get money from that? You gotta know where the money comes from. Or you want to start doing tour management and stuff like who's your artist? Like, what's going on? So yeah, I think there's a dynamic to that, and you know, kind of get it in from there. I also think that I want to sort of ask you about the music business as a whole, because you're one of the rare guys that, you know, works with artists, who's like independent, and then also you work at a label and do work with labels. So it's like, that dynamic in itself is that you see both sides of it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Right now, the biggest thing is, you know, staying independent versus going, you know, signing to a label. Labels are evil, blah, 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 not that nonsense. Mir Fontane, for example, great artist, Camden guy, one of my favorite artists, independent. How hard do you think a guy, it doesn't have to be him specifically, a guy like Mir Fontane, do you think he could benefit from a label support?
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's just more about him having the right team at the label behind him. I felt like, you know, there's a lot of things that go wrong in different deals that people get. But I feel like, you know, it's all about having like the right A&R, the right person pushing you to get the project and get everything pushed through.
Right.
But I feel like somebody like him would. I feel like, but that's also because he has a strong foundation behind him with myself and John, right? You know what I mean, the rest of the team. But shout out to John. But I feel like for a new artist trying to push a label deal, I don't think it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't either.
You know what I mean? But somebody that's really like bubbling and has actual fans and sells physical hard tickets to shows, I think depending on the situation, label can help for sure.
It gets you to the next level, man. But then on the flip side, you can also talk about how hard it is to be an indie artist.
Nah, I mean it's definitely hard. It's definitely hard to build a following, a fan base. Like Mir's following, you know, it's been consistent, but it really has taken like a lot of years in the making. You know what I mean? Like we went, like when I first got on the team was maybe like 2016. So, you know, we was doing like 2015? One of those years. I get those years mixed up, 2015 to 16, but like my first ever tour was this tour called Black Balloon Tour, and that's how I first met them. And I didn't start working with them till like, I think that was 2015. In 2016, that's when we started working together. So, like officially. So like 2015, we did a tour together, and first ever tour we did, and we're doing like, as far as Philly go, you know, we did like Bourbon and Branch. So it's 100 people. So to go from that to, you know, 4 years later, you know, we doing 700 plus at the TLA. There's really hard tickets. Like, it's definitely like, it takes a lot of time, man. But again, it all comes down to knowing the end goal and being focused and dedicated and passionate about what you're doing.
Right. Some
Crazy
of the...
bug, man.
Oh, good looking.
Shit. Oh, it's right there. Big as hell. Right there.
You
saved your life, bro. Saved your life.
Yo, but yeah, it's the one thing that I respect about like the independent artist, especially a successful one, is like the ability to like go out there and get features, go out there and, you know, sell your merch, go out there, put your team together, and like do it the right way. But I think it's so possible now to at least make money and be profitable, more so than before being an independent artist, because of, you know, the social media element. But we just have access to a lot of music business tools that a lot of generations didn't have. And that to me is one of the biggest reasons why I'm like, I don't think many artists understand the time and point where they should be signing to labels, because it's not the earlier you are in your cycle, your career cycle, the more likely you're not going to be able to sell hard tickets. You're not going to be able to have a fan base or a merch and cultivate a community. And you're asking a label to do that, or you're asking that shit is just tough. Like,
I mean, here's the thing, like, as soon as you sign a deal like that clock is ticking. And it doesn't matter who you are. But it's even worse as a growing artist, you sign a deal, you know, say your first single that got you signed actually did like $1 million or whatever.
Right.
You know, if that next song come out, it do 20,000, 30,000. Looking at you crazy.
It's a rap almost. Like,
no, it's legit.
It's really
almost
a rap.
At the one song.
Oh, always.
At the one song.
You
legit.
see it. Like, you see a dude who has a somewhat big record. The record goes crazy. Signs a label deal. Second record goes, it got 50K on it after 6 months.
And it's done.
It's a wrap.
But the problem is like, you are still hot once you sign that deal. But if that goes wrong, the process to really get you out of that deal, and because, you know, once you do that, they might put out another song.
Right.
But if that don't do, like, if that, since that first song didn't do well, you know, it's not an additional push to get you playlisting, because that go to somebody else.
Right.
It's not a push to do whatever. So if that don't go either, the process to move on from that deal is so tedious. By the time you get out, you know, 8 months later plus, you ice cold. Over a year plus, you ice cold, and you gotta start from scratch.
200%.
You know what I mean?
And then I also feel like, you know, a lot of these the problem with a huge record, especially early on when you don't have a fan base, is the culture and the community wasn't built. You don't have real fans. So it's like you have a huge record, but no real fans. And you're skipping steps almost. So it's like you almost rather have it the other way around, where you don't have any insane record, but you have real fans, people buy your tickets, consistent streaming numbers that are continue to rise, and it happens over time, 1 or 2 years, and then you finally catch one. Like DaBaby's a great example of that. Like his catalog was. He had a level of success on all his records in his catalog, and then like when he finally hit, it hit. It hit differently. It was like, yo, this guy, it hit. But then on the flip side, there's other guys I worry about where they got a couple records, and I'm like, I don't really, I don't really know what's gonna happen next, and it's like, that's just the reality of it. And I think that's a product of you signing your. You almost gotta strike where the iron's hot, though. That's why I don't feel like, yo, you're wrong for signing that initial deal. Like, especially if you were in a horrible position in life. Like, it's tough. Sure. It's tough to walk away from a couple $100,000 or even $150,000, some shit like that. Like when you don't got shit on your plate and you need to elevate and get to that next step.
For sure.
So I don't shun nobody.
It's definitely hard. You just gotta be careful because, like, seeing it behind the scenes is really all about like the right team behind you, the right A&R pushing you. To be honest, it's really just like labels are literally just a bank. You know what I mean? And you just want to make sure that you calculate all those risks because you still have to do everything yourself, and you gotta have the right infrastructure behind you.
For sure.
That'll help get things done. You know what I mean?
Unless you're a priority artist, and and you know how hard it is to be a priority artist. One other thing I want to ask you. Me and you both are in New York a lot. So I think that's one of the reasons why we were kind of able to infiltrate Philadelphia and South Jersey and just make a name in the industry and just get out there and meet people. Literally, we're in New York, you know what I'm saying, a couple times a week. Yeah. But do you think it's possible to reach that next level out of Philly, like on the business side, on the culture side?
What you mean?
Do you think we could? Do you think if we stay here, we can reach that plateau we want to get to in our career?
It's crazy, man. Like, honestly, I'm still trying to figure out what that next is for me, though. Like, what's that plateau for me? But I feel like, okay. So while I'm living in Philly, can I hit that plateau?
Yeah.
I mean, I think for me personally, the real like plateau next step would be to get a legit job at Live Nation in Philly or get hired to run something somewhere else. So
you do it?
Would I? It really just depends on the situation. I like my freedom. I feel like I make okay money now, so I did the corporate thing. I was at Paradigm for a month last year.
What happened with that?
I didn't like. There's a few things I didn't like, but just as far as the topic goes, the like strictness in terms of I gotta be in the office now, to where like I didn't have much freedom to do my own projects. That's something that's very key to me because like I thought I was ready to let Veli Brand go last year, but I realized because so I'd rather keep my own thing. So I mean, I feel like because there's no real like legit industry here, you have to move in order to really achieve some monumental millionaire success. But I think it's possible to bring it back. But to your point, to where like we infiltrated by being out,
right?
Like that's one thing that was key to me growing up. It's like, yo, I need to really be out in New York doing. My first ever tour was key for me, like 2014, 2015. Like I was in Boston, Rhode Island, whatever, and I was always moving back and forth from New York. And I was working with different people like outside of the city, and just doing that built a bubble back here to where it's like when people see you moving outside of the city, they start fucking with you more.
Start fucking with you.
And so that was key for me. But the big thing is like, I know everybody's big on social media today, and everybody want to post the shit. It's cool to post, things that you doing and moving and shit. But you gotta have some type of substance behind it. I had substance behind my shit. So when shit started bubbling, I was coming up with more shit. I was really moving.
Right.
And I think that helped catapult me too, because just here, just by being moving, me actually having substance and really doing actual shit outside of the city, that brought other opportunities to where that built me up even more.
Well, that's why I feel like you have a chance, and I say the same to myself because like we did it the right way. You build in Philly, you meet everybody here who's important, and you do a lot of work and shows and work with artists and all that stuff in your city, obviously. But then you go out the city and you build and cultivate those relationships.
Yeah.
So where, you know, when people think of Philadelphia or the Philadelphia area, they start thinking of you, or they start thinking of me, or they start thinking about, you know, some of the other people that are doing business out of the city. And for me, I feel like, you know, we're almost working up to that point where we can actually have the reach and pull and strength to actually do it from here. I just don't think people have done it because that's how it used to be almost. Like Philly historically is a very strong music business city.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
labels, you know, going back to like the soul era, like the Delphonics type shit like that. Like, you know, there was just labels and, you know, Music Soul Child era, and, you know, there were actually companies and people doing real business here. And somewhere along the way, you know, the way got lost. But I think it's completely possible. And I want to make sure it happens. I don't think I'd be satisfied, you know, getting out of this market without sort of planting that business flag here the way it should, and giving people giving that next generation a real feeling that they can. Like, cause I don't think, Mir, you felt that like it was possible. Even though we're talking, I don't think you really had the true feeling like, yo, Philly, you could do it from Philly. I don't think you ever felt that way.
Yo, bro, I mean, I never thought I'd be the face of a company.
Right.
I'll tell you that much.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I never thought I'd be the face of a company. Like, and I think, so my biggest thing is like, all right, I got two big things. First one is like, look, I feel like everybody can plan and shit like that, but I feel like the true test of a person is, you know, not how well you plan, but how well you're able to like adjust when things go wrong.
Respond to adversity.
Yeah, and I feel like one thing I do remember is like I had goals when I first started, and I forgot all of them because things change and you start moving in different directions. But one thing I do remember is like, yo, I want to be like a premier booking company for like national acts in the city.
Right.
And I feel like that's been achieved for the most part.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, I don't know anybody else who's like really doing it besides like the live Asians and shit like that.
Yeah,
I think it's you.
Shout out Dope Shows. They do
Dope
some
Shows
big
too,
stuff
yep.
too. But when it comes
They
to
at
like
the festival.
yeah, but when it comes to like working with agents and like doing tours,
Right.
Like getting tour offers,
Right.
It's pretty much just me, like Live Nation. You got a venue, like, you know, Vultures does do their own whatever, but it's pretty much me and Live Nation bidding for a lot of stuff.
How's that battle?
No, it's cool, man. Like, it's like I have a different experience with them than other people. I love the people over there. Shout out Joe. He just moved to LA. Funny enough, you say that. He just moved to LA, but he was like the main talent buyer at Live Nation for like TLA, Fillmore and stuff like that. You know, but other people like Kristen and other people like that, you know, I've always had a good thing with them, and you know, they've always looked out for me. You know, Joe put me on a lot of game. And you know, we kind of work together on different shows, so it's fine with me. You know what I mean? But I am interested in seeing what that next step is. And I met with them like a year and a half ago, and they asked me the same thing, like, what was that next step for you? And like, when it comes to like, you know, shows, I really don't know. But I do know that I feel like I'm already successful.
Right.
And you know,
it was your entry
more
point into
money.
culture. I mean, I always say like, what's your entry point? Like, I feel like once you really establish a level of credibility and sort of respect for what you do in your region, you got your entry point into the business. It's like now you have that sort of credibility, that stamp, and for the most part, I couldn't agree more. You have that credibility here, so now it's figuring out, all right, like what do I really want to get to in this business? And this shit is not easy. I think I'm one of those dudes who has like 80,000 things I want to do, and it's tough to execute while you're doing a lot of different. You just gotta just like, and this is more so for myself. Like I am like project. Just knock out those projects while you can, and like go on that run, and then like just kind of close that chapter. That's just how I feel. Like go for 2 years, do the fucking whatever that is, close that chapter, and get to the next level, or pass it off to somebody. It's like startups. It's like you build your startup up for 2 years and then you sell it, because you might keep some sort of controlling interest in it, but it's like, nah, I did that at the highest level. Now I'm doing my next startup, and I look at the music business very similar. It's like a startup. It's like a startup field. You accomplish I'll accomplish a level of success as an entertainment attorney, and I'll probably should check out at some point and go to that next level of whatever that looks like. In my career.
Yeah, man. I just don't know what that next one is. Like
Festival.
I feel like I've been trying, but I've struck out 3 times.
Nah, it's tough.
I've struck out 3 times. You know what I mean? But,
nah, you gonna get a festival. There's no way you don't get a festival off.
But to your point, it's like, you know,
Made in America struggling. I'm calling it out. I don't care who's looking at it. This last year, I saw the way y'all was struggling with tickets because y'all ain't tap in. Y'all should have tapped in with me and some of the real Philly players. I don't care. I have respect for everybody at Tidal and Rock Nation and everybody over there, but there's a reason why y'all was hustling tickets the way y'all was, because y'all ain't tap in. Let's get to the next subject.
That's funny as hell. But now, to your other point though, is like, or kind of what I said earlier is like, yo, like, you know, when I really only started doing showcases to put my artists on. Like, I didn't even want to start my own company. I had no long-term vision of doing big concerts with big artists and at the TLA and shit. Like, but like, I'm more of I let things flow, like, see what happens. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, this shit is, it's weird, man. I feel like me and you were in a lot of ways, and Will, the last guest I have, where, like, I think the cultural stamp is almost stronger than anything else. So it's like, you're so close, but you're still so far away. Like, you reach that level of success, and you know, but you still feel like getting to that's the toughest part, like getting over that last little segment. And but that's why I felt like, let me get y'all on now, because you know, you're gonna start Dame Dashing me $500 for your haircut in your limo, just to get you on the program. And
you seen the invoice today?
Today? Nah, I'll just duck you. I'll just get out of town for a little bit so you forget. Be like, all right, bet. Nah, man. I'm excited about the future landscape of Philly. I think we got some real players. I still think we could get connected a little bit more. The city.
People don't want to be connected, man.
I think they do. I'll fight you on it. I think y'all just
people want to be connected, but then they want to mysteriously be in the forefront of the connection.
right.
Nobody wants to be. I'm not gonna say nobody, but a lot of people just want their brand as the face of everything, and and like that's just what it is. And nobody's falling for that shit. Like, nobody was ever falling for that shit. And it's like now people moved up, people done different things. Like, I mean, look, everybody moves on their own accord, man. Like, and people doing what they do.
Yeah, I'm big on, like, I wanna really sort of connect the dots, like, in the city right now, because like I feel like there's about 4 or 5 people, 25 to 30, who are just like on their shit and gaining that sort of national respect and doing shit in their market. Like, you know, I say this humbly. I say I think me and you both, and then, you know, I'll give the nod to Rec Philly as a third, and then there's like a couple other people that, you know, that are just like really putting their stamp in on the business as a whole. And you know, I think we need to get on the same page, because we could really lock down this city at a young age and like do some crazy stuff, historic stuff. So I want to ask you a couple other questions, more so. This is more music business. I'm big on the music business behind the culture. If I'm a young guy trying to get into talent buying and tour management and getting, what advice do you have? What are some of the things that you wish you would have known when you were getting started that would have got you? Because the lessons are great, but you know, that would have got you to the next level early on in your career. Let's save a kid from a mistake right now.
Well, the thing is like, I feel like I was around some good people that actually cared about me. But I also feel like I had to prove myself You know, so one thing I would say to people is it wasn't a mistake I did, but it's like, yo, you got to prove yourself and really want to do the work. A lot of people today don't want to do the work and they want all the accolades.
200%.
So, you know, I would say, you know, research, you know, look at different people, like find different tour managers to like look up to. Like one of my biggest inspirations was Arthur Fogel. He pretty much started Live Nation. And, you know, but it was other tour managers like, you know, legendary tour managers that work at big artists to where like I looked at documentaries, I did research and I found out what it actually was. And then and I looked at I found some more attainable ones that, you know, are local or work with different artists who aren't Omega big.
Right.
And, you know, I would reach out. But you know, I was ready and willing to like learn and build, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people don't want to do that today. So I would just say, man, like research, know what you want to do, start on a smaller scale, build with somebody that's in the game, intern, and just do the work. And just once you do the work, like the good energy and like other resources will come from it.
Right.
That's the best thing I can say, because I feel like I was around people that cared about me, but I feel like, you know, they cared about me once they heard good things about me from other people.
Yeah,
like,
200%.
you know, I remember when I first started, it was hard for me to really like, all right, so when I first started, I was trying to actually build with Yusef. But Yusef wasn't really fucking with me. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to do shows with you. Like, I don't understand why you don't want to do shows with me. And one day I pulled him to the side. I said, yo, like, what's up? He was like, yo, work for the benefit of yourself. Don't work to get the attention of others. Like, once you do good shit, the energy will come and people will just come to you.
200%.
And that advice really changed my mood and changed my life too on how to move.
Yeah, be great. Like, it's like, be fucking great.
Yeah, so like, it wasn't, it may not be as specific as, you know, touring and stuff like that, but that's really the best advice I can give.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You gotta, people want you to move for them, like, when they haven't, it's like, bro, I'm not, and it happens to me, and it's like, bro, I don't know anything about you, I don't know what you do, and I'm not disrespecting you, I have respect for you as a human being, but like, yo, this is like,
That's the thing, it's like, somebody reach out to you, hey, I'm trying to learn, you know, different things about being a lawyer, I'm trying to get into shows, and it's like, dude, I know nothing about you. Why should I feel obligated to bring you into my circle?
Right, show some credit, bring something, it's a value exchange, bring something to the table. There's people I work with or help, and it's like, just because they went out their way to like do something or like show that they were like actively in a game and pursuing something, and I'm like, yo, you might not have connections, you might not have money, but you have a will and an understanding that is about value exchange, and I'm okay with that. Like, you're gonna bring value being around because you're diligent. You're a diligent person. You know, you're a credible person. You know, I can rely on you for information and other stuff, and you're just a reliable source. So it's like, if you prove that, and I don't know how you can prove that. There's a multitude of ways to prove that. Once you prove that to somebody, I think that conversation starts to shift from, you know, how come you're not fucking with me to like, we're doing some work together. And
just show value.
Yeah, show value.
Just show value. That's really the best advice I can give. Like, show value. And it might take, you know, 3 or 4 follow-ups. It might take a year.
Right.
But again, like, you know, everything can't be now, bro. Like, people got lives, people moving. I can't stop and bring you on my team just because you want to learn something about shows.
Right.
For what? What am I doing that for you for? You know what I'm saying? It's no benefit to me, and you haven't shown any value. Like, you could be anybody. You know what I mean? Because honestly, for every person who might be valuable, there's 3 other people who want to get around just so they can finesse some things and finesse some contacts and whatever. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, we all do it to a certain extent. We all have an end goal that we have for meeting somebody, but it's a value exchange built over time to where it's like, yo, I might want something from you, but at the same time, I'm on your interview. You know what I'm saying? You might got some.
Y'all peep that? Ew. This dude said, yo, this guy's crazy, yo. Nah, I was fucking with you.
They did something kind of crazy. But you get what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? We building, like, if you needed a client on the show, you know what I mean? I'm a you know what I mean? Like, it's just things value.
But you have value to, that's why it's like, no, I get it. Trust me. I think you understand me as a human. That's how I work too, is like, I get it. I trust me, I get it. And it's like, you know, I get that you're busy. That's why it's like, and you don't really do it. This is really his first interview since he got stamped since he got stamped in the city. Everyone's asking me about Veli. Oh, who's Veli? Can I get in contact with him? Let me do that and that. And I was like,
stop hating, make it happen. Stop hating.
Nah, but I also don't like waste people's time. So I was like, if somebody be like, yo, connect me with Veli, I'm not going to ruin our bridge. And so that's what y'all got to understand too about networking and connecting. People is like, if you have a good relationship, a good bond with a person, spare them the time too. Vet that person, vet that opportunity. I'm not gonna come to Veli with some bullshit or some kid trying to waste his time. Nah, bro, that's not what you do. So it's like, somebody asked me, yo, can you connect me with Veli? I'm like, for what? You know, what you doing? And I hope it's the other way around. And it's like, you know, that's how you move. That's how you move.
Yeah.
Before we close, who should we be listening to? Who's hot right now? Who you working with? What music? Like if I'm not tapped in right now, who you think I should be fucking with, or the people should be fucking with?
Just in general, in Philly.
Both.
Yeah, I'm gonna shout out to Philly. I love, outside of Mir Fontane and Camden, I love Leaf Ward from Philly. I love Leaf Ward's music. I like a few songs on Zah Sosa's new project.
I like Zah Sosa.
I definitely think that Sim Santana is the next big thing out of Philly, though. Shout out to Martin and the team.
Is a crazy record.
I think he's the next big one. Like, it's been a lot of artists who've come up and then he fizzle out. I think it has more to do about the people that's around him. And I feel like, you know, Mont has a good structure around Sim. I think Sim's going to be next. There's a few others, like, I still love, like, back in the creative scene, like, back in the day, I still love Crime Children. I still love Hoax Payne music. Obviously, Tierra Whack. And there's a few others that I'm probably drawing blanks on, but, like, I'm definitely a huge fan of Leaf Ward, you know, fan of Sim. Zaso is cool. I like Broad Grade a little bit. I like the new stuff he's doing.
I like Broad Grade. I like that kid.
You know what I mean? And obviously Mir.
I'm biased, man. I like any new shit that rings out from Philly. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm one of those dudes that
Philly got some good stuff coming up, man. Like
I've
been more tuned in. I've been more tuned. F.A. Snoop. I think Wolf. I like Wolf a lot. She got a good structure around her.
Nah, Wolf's an animal, man. Yeah. Wolf's one of the hardest working people I know in Philly. It's
I like Wolf.
The reason why I fuck with Wolf heavy, Wolf is a manager / business person out of Philly, a younger person like me and Veli's age, and he manages artist F.A. Snoop, who is also one of my clients, and she's super hard, but like just the effort and the day-to-day grind that you see Wolf putting in, it's like, you can't lose. You're not going to lose. Like, it's not going to be, sometimes, the media results people be expecting and wanting to see are like, it's not going, but like, nah, you going to win. And I think that's what's so special about that camp. But I also, and then vice versa, a couple of other artists and a couple of other, it's like, I hope they establish that work ethic too, because they got a couple singles that ring out on the streets, but it's like, I always wonder about Philly because, and I say this respectfully to everybody, I always worry about Philly because the song's always super hard. Philly has always had a crazy street culture, but it's just the business behind the music in Philly has always been off. Always been off. So anytime I hear a name out of Philly, I think I'm old enough and I'm in the game enough and I'm present enough in Philly that I know who's behind it. And I'm always like, normally it's getting a lot better. So it's like, that's what I could say. It's like, there's a couple camps that just do it usually, and it's getting a lot better. But, you worried about the wrong people in the streets of Philly just swallowing kids up. Yeah. You worry about that.
Pause. But yeah.
Nah, the streets of Philly swallow, yo.
Like, it's definitely like, it's definitely like that's why I said I think Sim is going to be next, because I feel like Sim has a good infrastructure around him that, other people haven't, and that's why they fizzle out, you know what I mean, in the past year or so. But also, back to Philly artists, shout out Pound Side Pop. I like a few songs he's been putting out, and then Frankie Hill from South Jersey. Like, those everybody I just named, those are people that I'm really fans of in Philly for the most part.
Pound Side Pop, I think he connected up with Human Resources.
Yeah, Troy Carter Jr. Yeah, that's my guy. Omar.
They literally...
They been snapping.
His whole shit slapped different. I was like, yo, whoever's behind this, just really just like nah, y'all got it. Y'all got the vision. And I found out it was them. I was like, man, Poundside Pop, I think he's out of here. I think he's out of here.
It'll take a few more things, but I think.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
But you saw how, you know, what he had the record on some shit. And I thought, yo, this record's crazy. But nothing really happened after. It was a Philly artist. And then, like, you know, I just saw his Instagram change. I saw the presence change. And I saw, like, you know, the work they were putting in. I was like, that's dope. Yeah. I fuck with Human Resources.
Nah, they definitely do anything. Oh, and lastly, outside of Tierra Whack, like female artists in Philly, I love Rocky. I love Rocky.
Nah, Rocky's hard. Yo, Rocky represents Philly in a way that, like,
I love her.
Nobody can.
She's fire.
She gives you that real Philly vibe, like, no doubt about it. Nah, man, this is super dope. I'm happy you came through. I think this interview's gonna age well, just like the Will interview. Like, you know, y'all gonna be, I don't know if he said something controversial, but y'all gonna be looking at this interview like 10 years from now.
I ain't saying controversial.
Yeah. Yo, and there's times I want everybody to know I'm a good man, because there was times today that I could have asked a question and veered off, and I know I would have got some takes out of Veli that would have got him in some trouble.
I'm honest, but at the same honest, but I don't get in trouble because I don't give a fuck. Nobody really, nobody is like the reason why I'm anybody.
You don't get blackballed. You don't get blacklisted.
You can't blackball.
That's a fact.
You can't blackball, especially not in this city. I'm good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is what it is, but.
Yeah. All right, yo.